Okay, this is important if you want to understand the video. In the UK, we call roads, not just officially roads, but also carriageways, because they were designed with the horse and carriage in mind, and if both directions of travel use a single road surface, asphalt, tarmac, whatever you want to call that, then in this case, it's called a single carriageway, but if there is a divider between the two directions of travel, this is called a dual carriageway, because there's two of them, and they have higher speed limits and lots of other benefits. Most roads in the UK are single or dual carriageways, and this is essential to understand. But anyway, hello, I'm IBX Toy Cat, and welcome back to another episode of my Update Adventures Let's Play. We recently got our hands on a spear because it's update week, and that is hugely exciting. But now that we have the spear, I think that the horse has been turned from being a silly little potential transport for some situations mob into actually being a mob that you can use both for transport but also for fun. And so today I'm going to be doing redstone by vibes. This is something I heavily recommend to anyone out there who has a survival world that they care about, that just want to have some fun inside of Minecraft, instead of having to build out something extensively, have multiple drafts of it in creative and watch YouTube videos. I recommend trying to build something out of redstone by just giving it a shot, and that's exactly what I'm doing today, because I have a fun idea. Right now, I have this big stretch, these 3 blocks wide, as it is now. I have this 3 block wide carriageway that gets me to and from the rest of my world to my stables. This is where I keep all of my mobs, happy ghast, horses, mules, skeleton horses, and now, thanks to the Mounts of Mayhem, my new coral nautilus, regular nautilus, and zombie nautilus, which I did get, and they are all very delightful, but I have all of those things, and it's great to have all the mounts, but I don't have a real way to really use these mounts for fun. I have a way to measure the mount's ability. I have a horse jump tester, I have, this over here, my horse speed tester, but I figure it's important to have a horse joust tester, and so I'm going to take this carriageway right here, and I figure what I should do is build another one right next to it. This, by itself, could already be used as kind of a jousting arena, but I want to make a jousting arena that has some official sounding rules, or at least some official sounding sounds as well. I want to make a jousting setup where actually you are both playing on a fair, setting ground, and where you actually feel like something is happening as a result. Therefore, my idea is simple. Let's take this area, let's extend it out so the 2 carriageways are next to each other, let's put a divider in between the 2 of these, and then let's have something fun here. Let's have a one-way system to and from the horses that can be used, if you so wanted, like with this divider right here, that could be hypothetically used to hold a jousting duel. Obviously, the rules of the road in the Let's Play world do not permit jousting, and there's no one here to joust with, but I do think it'd be really fun to have a jousting area, and I think that I want to make a redstone contraption to allow precisely this. So, what is my idea? Well, it's simple. I've grabbed myself some... Oh, man, my inventory got so full. I perfectly emptied it for this video, but it's fine. So my simple idea is this. I'm going to start with some trapdoors, if we can. These things right here. I'm going to start with some trapdoors, and the idea is that no matter which way you want to do your racing, let's say we have, 3 trapdoors here. Actually, yeah, if you drive... in this world, I guess actually, logically... we could pick it either way. But in this world, we're going to say you ride on the left, and so this is the way you come in from here. And on this side, we have 3 pressure plates over here also. Now, here's the thing. I want to make it so that if you stop on these pressure plates, there is going to be like a timer, and then if both of you are stopped on pressure plates at the same time, you have doors that will open, letting you joust. So the only thing I need to test now is grab a horse. Oh look, I've got a zombie horse here. And to see if I can stand on the pressure plates while being fully pushed up against the doors. And as you can see, oh, okay, so we need to also make the central divider slightly higher at the beginning here. But as you can see, I don't think we're actually stepping on the pressure plates. There is this tiny gap between me and the pressure plates, which means that I can't, I can't leave my horse running forwards. I have to sit here and then just run forwards when the gate opens, which isn't really my ideal. So my second idea, if I have to try something else, would be to place the pressure plates down a block, which, could work because horses can go up and down with no jumps required whatsoever. Look at this. He's not even going to jump. He's just going to walk right up there. I mean, it looks like he's jumping, but he's not. Anyway, the important thing is we could do the same thing over here. Let's place 3 pressure plates up there. We won't open them all, of course. But if we place 3 pressure plates, or 3 fence gates there, then now what I can do is I can get on my horse, after closing this, and I can have a world where I'm forced up against them, yet the pressure plates are not immediately opening them. Boom! We've solved problem number 1. Got it out of the way. Awesome. Now, the goal would be that if you are on these pressure plates, you could apply pressure with your horse towards forwards, and you'd be able to lean up against the gates, such that the moment the duel or the joust or whatever you want to call it officially starts, you'd be able to charge towards each other, and then that would actually begin it. As opposed to the normal system, where you have to just sit there and then be like, yeah, on the count of 3, let's go. I want to have a system that kind of confirms, like, this is going to happen. And so all I have here is a simple idea. I want some redstone that locks the player off, perhaps behind if it has to be an iron door, but I prefer some fence gates here, and then some fence gates over here, and all I need to do is make sure that the only way these trigger is when someone stands on both of these these pressure plates. I called them trapdoors 3 times in a row, and I am wrong for that. But yeah, so again, just to really help you understand here, this is going to be a dual carriageway, so I will have to travel on the left from now onwards, and I want to stand here, and if I'm standing on here, I want the doors not to open until someone is standing on the other one for me to go and duel. In this case, it seems to be the Wandering Trader. Let's give him a quick little joust. Oh, there we go. Quick little joust for him, I reckon. And, why would you do that to my zombie horse? Do you know how rare this guy is? Anyway, important thing to understand is that this is going to be a piece of vibe redstoning, and I think that that's a fun thing to do in the world. Again, if you're looking to have some fun. So my first idea was as simple as this. Place some pale oak fence gates down, and then we could stand on them. But obviously, if we do that, the gates will open by themselves. That's a problem. Then my second idea was even better, I think. I figured this would be perfect. If we place the doors over there, we could then put a redstone trigger on, like, the sides here or something like that. Honestly, you could just do it without that, and then all we'd have to do is charge our horse towards it, and we'd be able to activate the pressure plates without activating the gates. But there's one crucial problem. One is that seemingly, the horse is just long enough that it visually... Okay, so one is seemingly the central reservation is not tall enough. But the second is that the pressure plate is literally... The zombie horse is like a pixel shorter than it needs to be to activate the pressure plate. Literally, if I nudge back the tiniest bit, it would be good. And so I tried to work out, is there something like a fence gate that is like a pixel wider? And I didn't come to an easy conclusion, but what I did think about is like, okay, what if we just place the gates up here? Because horses are so big, I think we could even place it another block higher up. And now we've solved our problem of having a way to lock in, a way to, kind of charge continuously at the thing, without having the gates immediately open by themselves. I think that this does cause... Again, I'm amazed that this does work, that you can't have the one wide gap here. Obviously, you could jump over this. Obviously, there's circumvention. But this is designed for 2 people who want to duel, who have some dishonor they need to settle, and are willing to do so in an honorable way. And I think that this works great for that. And so now I just need to work out how to connect these pressure plates together, and then connect both those pressure plates to the doors, so at the exact same moment, they will go off. Because right now, these are floating in the air, which is... I mean, it's a bit of a problem, right? So, I think this should be something that in theory goes simple enough, because we'll remove this central reservation. I think that, honestly, making it out of grass doesn't make a bunch of sense anyway. Instead, what we'll do is I need to place this down, because I've got too many grass blocks from my little destruction I just did. Let's place all of these away. Let's grab us some inventory space. And let's instead use what I believe a central divider should be made out of, iron bars. Let's place a ton of iron bars. We'll start low, or we'll start high over here, because we want to make sure the players don't jump over it by accident with their horse. And then we'll skip over to 1 high for the rest of this, so that you can actually, fire your joust at the enemy, and so that you can actually do that. So now let's run through here. Not what I wanted to do, but it's fine. Let's run through here and have that central divider. Again, this means that you'll be able to run the full speed limit in the Toycat Let's Play world. That's important. It's in the bylaws. You don't be breaking those if you come into this map, as I know a lot of people will be doing because of the latest version of the download. But just like that, you can see we've done the same thing over here, and boom, we've worked out a problem, except no, the problem we were trying to solve is redstone related. How do we connect these redstone pressure plates together? Well, these pale oak pressure plates. Honestly, I don't use redstone a lot, and I think you can tell by how often I'm incorrectly naming these items. So the idea is simple. We place pressure plates. We place redstone under all 3 of them. This means that no matter how we do it, you can see just like that, we activate it, and it works just fine. And then we run through this tunnel. It's so much easier to do redstone in tunnels, thanks to crawling, by the way. And we have a repeater, just to be absolutely sure. Although that will mess up my ability to actually crawl through here, I think. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to have a repeater in here eventually, hopefully. And then somewhere in the middle, we're going to have it come down a block, just so we can set up something easy. I guess actually we could bring the whole thing down an extra block so I can make the repeater without getting trapped. And then in the middle here, I'm going to have a simple piece of redstone that basically will say, the only way this redstone will work is if redstone signals are coming in from both sides. That's how I want to make it be. I want to make both sides be required for this to function. And so how do we do this? Again, vibe redstoning tells me that all you have to do is use what's called an AND gate. So an AND gate is a redstone torch here, a redstone torch here, and then another redstone torch here with a redstone dust in between them. This AND gate guarantees that unless you turn on both of these torches by powering both of these sides, then this torch won't turn on. So this is a torch that only turns on when both pressure plates are stood on. Easy peasy. Now we just have to make this redstone go somewhere. For now, I'll just carve it into the mountain that's over here. So if this is the middle, this is the 3-block wide carriageway. This is just off to the right by 1 block. This is off to the right by 2 blocks. So now we tunnel into this. And now we've made a redstone signal which can go in both directions again to turn on both gates. Actually, that is easier said than done, isn't it? But again, for now, let's just bring this out of the mountain. And let's make sure we get this right. So, for now, this is the theory is that this will work. The only way to actually test it, obviously, is going to be to just have like a redstone torch or something. Something simple that we can see has been lit. So when this redstone signal turns on, just to confirm that, when the redstone signal turns on, this redstone torch turns off. That will mean that everything is working and we can work on our triggers. So now I have to run back through my tunnel. I have to make sure that there is redstone connecting this all the way out through here, which of course I want there to be. So redstone, 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 done. And then we have to do the same on the other side, going all the way out towards the other pressure plates. This is something that I think is just going to be easier done by going underneath those. Okay, so this is some pressure plates. Let's dig down below them and get this going. Honestly, I really do love the idea of making something without any pressure of like, oh yeah, well, did you know this isn't the Zing design that was just discovered that has 20% more efficiency? Toy Cat, you're using too much redstone dust. Like, I like the idea of just saying, like, yeah, let's make the thing. Hopefully it's a fun time to make it. And I think that that is the better way to make most things. In general, I think maybe you can come up with some exceptions to that rule if you'd like to. But I think that this is good. And now once we've done that, we can place our second repeater down. As long as we've got less than 14 dust here, which I don't actually think is true. Let's remove some of this just to be sure. So let's have a repeater there, and then break all of this. Now, as long as there is the right amount of redstone dust, which I think we've just guaranteed, we now have it so that both of these pressure plates can activate this at the same time, which will activate our little proxy signal, which currently is a redstone torch. So because I don't have any friends, we're going to place some redstone on that pressure plate. And on the other one, we'll place our horse. And if this goes according to plan, about 0.2 seconds later, that torch should turn off. Hey, it does! So now we've worked out a way to make it so that both pressure plates need to be stood on. Now we just need to work out how to solve the second part of our problem. We've solved the trigger, now we need to solve the output. So turning these off is going to be a nightmare. We could theoretically run this redstone cabling through the wall and have it hit this one on the left. But what about this one on the right? It just seems like a nightmare, right? And so I think the solution here, bit of a wacky one, would be probably to lower this down such that I can turn it on from the ground. Again, I don't know if this will work. It's a bit of a long shot, I think. But what if we were to have the pressure plates be a block lower? That is doable, I think. And then we could have these be a block lower too, here and there. So if these were just a block out of the way, which of course they can easily be, we just lower that redstone down an extra block. If which I guess we could lower the whole thing down by a block, because why not? So we just lower the pressure plates by a single block and nothing else changes anywhere. Then we basically have the exact same design, but with a little bit of extra ease here. It will obviously require some prettying up later. And I need to make sure that a horse actually can. I guess, yeah, this is important. Can a horse jump up a block through an empty fence gate? So if we can fit in this gap down here, which is a big if. Why, am I breaking this block? I'm not sure. Okay, we did. So if the horse is still going to try and stand up here, which does ruin the whole concept. You can't have a level difference between you and the gate. So instead, we'd have to remove these blocks as well. But then that defeats the whole thing. We want to connect redstone to these gates, and so this does not work. So instead, what we probably would have to do is say, okay, there's only one gate here, and that one gate is on the side, and this is like the jousting gate, right? And then that way, if we have that here, then when we have both pressure plates turned on, you'd know when to charge. Then we could bring it back up to the surface, and that might look a bit better. But then that raises the question, how are we going to turn on this other gate? There's going to be another gate on this side, floating over, what, here? How are we possibly going to turn that on without making it look ugly? Well, we could just give up on not making it look ugly. If we had a block there, right underneath it, well, that would ruin it, wouldn't it? But if we had a block there, right underneath it, then we could power that block using a redstone signal, like this, and then it would turn on the gate. But then the gate wouldn't work as a gate, because if I tried to go through it, I guess it would just bring me up a block. But that's not ideal either. So instead, we need to think about this one logically. Maybe the solution is we have a wall on the side here, like this, and then we could bring in the redstone power to the side of this. So if we just bring in the redstone power like this instead, hypothetically, then we could do the exact same thing. So remove that, put that on there. Just like that, we've done the same thing, and all we need to do is make a little artificial rock on the side to hide our redstone wiring in. Okay, so now, let's pull this all together. This is my redstone. It's interesting that you can just shut a gate even when it's powered on by redstone. But this is my idea. I've got two gates, one on each side. If I want to sidestep it, which I was thinking I would just have to run around the side, but now it will be sidesteppable by just running through the center here. And if you want to duel, you specifically will have to stand on this block, ready. Which means I think I'm going to go ahead and just undo all the work I just did here and bring this all back up a block. So let's remove all of these. Let's remove all of this. And then let's just place all that stone back there, just so it looks a bit prettier and a bit more natural. I think looking lazy has its charm. I think it's a show that, like, yeah, I put this together simply. Don't have high expectations. Just enjoy yourself, maybe, if you want to. Because now we can place this an extra block up, and it has no difference on the bearing of how this will work. So that's nice and easy. Then we place our pressure plates right over here in front of it. We don't even need three at this point. We could just have the one pressure plate be here to make it clear that you should wait in front of it. Yeah, I think the three pressure plates is fun. I think it just looks a bit better. But having some indication that this is the one you should stand on would be good. But maybe players will already know that from looking at the gate. And then we can come through this and connect that together. Man, it's nice having that moment where you're like, oh no, I don't know how it's all going to work. And then suddenly you're like, oh no, I know exactly how it's going to work. That is one of the joys of life, let me tell you. Is something that seems impossible becoming very possible. Honestly, it's one of the feelings I have a surprising amount of. It's one of those feelings that, like, I think is maybe the best one that you can have. I might even say. I think if I could take a moment here, you know, as if I would ever do that, take a moment to talk about something other than Minecraft. I think that a surprising amount of frustration in life, like I think that this is the truest rule you can have in a video game, is you should never have the player have something bad happen to them and then feel like it was not their fault. You know, I think that this is also true for good life design. I think making a poor life decision is one thing, you know, and having a poor outcome from it. But if you feel like, you know, whether it's true or not is a whole different societal debate. But if you feel like something bad happened and there was nothing you could have done, it changes entirely your feeling on it. It's something that I think is coming to the surface with the concept of, like, you know, dark patterns. Is now people are feeling, you know, like, to give an example of this, like, if you have a concert ticket and it's like, oh yeah, to buy this $40 ticket, you have to give us $70 in fees, then you feel screwed. You feel like you've been tricked. You feel like someone tricked you in with this rate and then gave you a bad one. And that's why Ticketmaster is one of the most hated companies in the world, because they stand in for artists who want to charge more for their tickets, but think that they wouldn't get away with it. They stand in for those people, and they kind of do that. And I think that weirdly, what people like is when, yeah, you spent more for something, but that's because you actually want it a bit more. I think that's like the mastery of a good, air quotes, dark pattern. I think that if you want to have more revenue from the consumer, this is something that's really relevant in Minecraft right now, right? Like, you can tell Minecraft has always been a bit of a metric-driven game, perhaps we could say. But you can tell they've really upped their game on it recently. Okay, so how far are we? Oh, I went too far. Okay, so we're going to go back a few blocks. Or we could just hollow this whole thing out. I don't need the dirt under here anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the... I don't know, I've never done this before. I don't know if this will work. I'm going to have another redstone torch there. And in theory, both of these can be powered by the same input. And then we just have a bunch of redstone going from here to there. And boom, problem solved. So now redstone our way over. I think I'm going to run foul of the repeater rules here. I don't think this is going to work at first. But I think that we made the simplest 2 input, 2 output thing. So I think I think that Minecraft's monetization is becoming an increasing problem. We are seeing all sorts of bizarre costs being cut when it comes to things in the company. Like, again, just the very way that bugs are being prioritized, that major things are being reported as, oh, that's totally fine, when to any sane human, like, yeah, I would say to any developer especially, it would be seen as, yeah, obviously a bug. And it's because they're like, yeah, well, I think developers should be working on more important things right now, don't you think? To explain this together, I think that if in life it is nice to solve a problem and feel like you did something great and it's your smart, I think that's the reason we like deals, and I think that's the reason we hate when you feel like you've been tricked by something. That's why I feel like, genuinely, I will defend this till the day I die. Ryanair is my favorite airline. It used to be when I started like traveling, when I turned like 18, 19 and realized I could go to Europe for like 60 quid for the weekend. When I first started like with a hotel included. But when I first started doing that, everyone in my life above the age of 30 would be like, oh yeah, you can't be trusting Ryanair though, they got so many hidden V's. Oh, you want to bring bags on your holiday? That'll be 30 quid. And it's like, well, I don't want to bring a bag for a 2-day trip. Why would I? Why would I inconvenience myself and then pay a bunch of money? And obviously, in a way, you could argue that was the airline kind of incentivizing my decision. I need to go get some more redstone repeaters, by the way. Also, I think on this side, I should make if it's going to be a dual carriageway, in the normal sense of the word, then that's how we should do it. But I've always felt like, yeah, actually, I love Ryanair because they... maybe they incentivize me to travel in that way, but by incentivizing me with money, one of my, what I often call my love language, one of my favorite ways to be incentivized, it's like, great, yeah, that is, if you want to incentivize me to not bring a bag, because bringing bags on the plane slows down boarding, and slowing down boarding, check bags especially were the crazy one to me. Like, oh yeah, having to hire baggage staff is expensive. And so if you can cut down a bunch of costs of random contractors around the world and save me some money, I don't mind. Whereas when the reverse happens, when you see companies like cut costs and say, yeah, the money we save from cutting these costs, that's on us. Yeah, sure, we've made your experience worse, be that travel, be that Minecraft, whatever the case may be. And yeah, we did that so we could make some more money because we want to charge the same price tag, but have more of that go to us rather than, expenses. I feel like that's the version that people feel bad about, weirdly enough. And without going too deep into the concept, I do think that people love when you say, yeah, let's work together. Let's have it be that, like, yeah, I make a bit of money, I save a bit of money, you make a bit of money. I do this, you have a little bit of this, I feel like people love that. I think people like the idea of, like, you're doing something. People love mutually beneficial exchange. I think this is one of the reasons we thrive as a species, if I'm being totally honest. And I don't like when there are businesses that are like, what if we took the mutually beneficial part out of the exchange and just made everything a little worse for everyone? So it actually turns out I could have made redstone repeaters while I was out there, which is handy. But I think I want to make some more anyway, because redstone repeaters, they're such an essential redstone tool. So let's make a ton of them using the sticks I have here. Make those into redstone torches. Make the redstone torches into, I don't have any more redstone, so let's go get some. And we'll be good here. But, yeah, if I could tie my little Ryanair Minecraft rant together, it's by saying that I think it's fun to work out stuff sometimes. I think it's fun to feel like you've done something clever. And it's the worst to feel like there is nothing you could have done. You were screwed. This was never going to go any other way. That's what turns people against the idea of wanting to exchange anything. I feel like it's the reason why to this day we still talk about like company towns, and the company would give you money, and the money could only be used in their store, and they would raise the prices of goods in the store as a way to like decrease your wages, and you had a fake currency so you couldn't solve anything about it. That feels like someone screwing you. That feels like someone like turning the rules and tricking you into them. And weirdly, this time of year, I think this is really relevant. I think that one of the things that I really want to rail against, because I see ads for it all the time, is gift cards. It should not be societally acceptable. I think it should be, if you get a gift card, like, because people, when they get cash, you're like, oh yeah, this is lazy gift. But put cash in an envelope that says, please spend it on this or something. Because right now, gift cards are a giant business, and they're a giant business relying on the idea of you getting someone a gift and them not using it. It is one of the most painful, in my opinion, concepts because of that sole idea that, like, trying to turn someone's generosity into their, massive financial gain, or someone, maybe even you could argue, like, turning someone's, like, lack of wanting to say they don't like their gift into a game. Gift cards generate so much money for the people issuing them because so many gift cards aren't redeemed, whereas cash is totally okay. You can redeem it whenever you like. This is a silly rant. I could rant all day. That's what I love about the Let's Play. But just like that, I think we have now officially done a piece of redstone, and you know what that means? Okay, so I'm going to have to test this. I'll test it using repeaters, actually. Let's place some repeaters down here. And I'm going to have to grab a willing companion. So this will be my willing companion for now. Thank you for joining. Wait, why can't I lead him? Is this always been the case? Okay, can I lead you somewhere? Why can't I lead you? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to simulate a willing dueling companion by grabbing my boy over here and putting him in a safe little spot. So, hello friend, you are going to be my duel combatant. And, it's going to be really fun coming together on this. Yeah, I think it's a funny thing about how... I think company towns are a really good example of, like, how we didn't... Well, whenever you feel like someone rigged the game against people who were actually trying really hard, that's when people go, oh, yeah, this is a system we need to flip up on its head. This is a concept we can't allow to exist anymore. And it's funny that the people operating those same systems don't realize that, like, oh yeah, technically making number go up is slightly good in the short term, but you do still need to make sure that number doesn't go drastically down in the long term. Someone in my family works for a gambling company, and they work on making it so that people gamble less, right? Or that, and that seems like an insane job to have. Like, I work in a gambling company, and my job is to convince people not to use our products. But it's like, yeah, because over a lifetime, you could make a bit of money. Make it someone gambling all their life savings once is actually less beneficial than someone doing their savings a bunch of times. And more importantly, even if it wasn't, I forgot about this dumb skeleton horse bug. Let's go to sleep. Let's celebrate 7,400 days as I finish this story. I think that it's like you would much rather have a world that doesn't see you as the devil, because now as we see gambling advertisements massively ramp up, there is this huge like, oh, I wonder where they're getting all that money for all these sponsorships for. Huh, sure seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Okay, so let's now drop these down. Actually, we should probably cover this up too. This isn't complete until it's complete, right? So cover that up, make it look good. Put some of this down there. Then we're going to grab our jousting spear, and I'm going to simulate a duel with the villager here. So again, just in case we've gone all this way and you don't get it, the entire reason I wanted to make this video, the entire reason I wanted to do this, was because I saw that jousting was a real thing you could do in Minecraft, and I already have the boataway in my Minecraft world, named after a motorway, and so do you know what the next logical thing to make was? A dual carriageway. But get this right, replace the A with an E. Yeah, let's go! Let's go! Let's do... Oh, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Oh. Why did that not work? Let's try that one again then, shall we? Okay, so let's go for a duel! Yeah, there we go. I won. Looks like the Wandering Trader did not. Easy peasy, win for me. And so yeah, now if we want to avoid the dual carriageway, it's also very simple. But yeah, there is now going to be a one-way traffic rule in my world. Obviously, if you're coming here, you have to go this way. And if you're coming from the other way, you go that way. This should ensure extra safety, and it means that we can have faster horses going by at the same time. No, yeah, as silly as it seems, can I have one last thought? I think that it's silly as it seems sometimes to make features like this that are clearly multiplayer-oriented in a single-player world. I think the important thing is that you enjoy making the thing. Again, over the efficiency of having a perfect setup. I'm sure there's a jousting arena that exists perfectly on YouTube Redstone tutorial somewhere. Rather than having something that works perfectly for your setup, arguably the thing I need most in this world is a gold farm or an iron farm or whatever. I've only got a poppy farm, you see. But like, arguably the thing that would be best is to do that. But I had so much fun making this today. I really did, and I do think there's still room for like, I think on this side, it's not, I think there needs to be like a wall or something to make sure that it's clear that both sides of the carriageway are equal. I think that something going over here would be good. You know, like a series of fences on this side or something. But I absolutely love, you know, like making something like this with a dumb pun. I loved making those traffic rules that you saw on that one little thing earlier. And honestly, I think that is the joy of Minecraft sometimes, is in making, you can call it lore if you want to, but making your world just a little bit more of a complete and full and alive place can take precedent over anything else if you enjoy it. And you better believe I did enjoy it, because I love Toycat's Let's Play. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. We hit 7,400 days, which is a cool milestone. I still want to do something with my Nautilize, and my Husk Camel. I've got a very good collection of mobs here. I want to work out what to do with them, and that is still on my mind, but clearly on the back of my mind, because the dual carriageway had to take precedence. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it taught you that you can really do anything in Redstone with simple enough, if you just break it down into its easy components. Work out what you can do and come up with an idea with that. And even if it's bad, I'm shocked at the number of people. I think it's got like a 250,000 views now. The number of people who liked my my horse speedometer. I made this by, maybe the design exists somewhere else. I'm not sure, but I made this myself just playing around in the Xbox 360 edition one day. And I love the idea that there's a bunch of people like, yeah, I would love one of those in my world. And by starting from doing something from first principles yourself, you have more fun because you actually understand what you're building. And to me, that is important. But yeah, okay, there we go. I had my soapbox on 3 separate issues now. Ryanair, and Dark Patterns, and now why you should enjoy Redstone. But if you enjoyed this video, then I hope you did, because I'll see you tonight for the live stream. And it's Christmas next week. That's exciting. Guess we'll have to have a Christmas special for Let's Play. That'd be nice. Okay, goodbye.